A glowing sound effect appears on the left-hand side of the screen. The ACB Next Generation logo is in the background. Throughout this interview, there will be a still image of the person being interviewed. Hello, everyone. This is Mo Carpenter of ACB Next Generation, and welcome to another Monday Member Spotlight. This is actually the last Member Spotlight that Desiree Christian has done for us. We thank her so much for her time, but she has moved on to bigger and better things. As this interview was conducted early last year or early 2021, some of the information may be outdated, such as the convention theme. Also, you may have noticed a little delay in this interview coming out, and that is simply for the fact that this particular project has switched committees within ACB Next Generation, and therefore we had to take a slight pause as things were getting readjusted. But without further ado, let's get to this month's Monday Member Spotlight. Our last interview from Desiree Christian of our current Vice President, Matt Selm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another Monday Spotlight. We have with us this fine evening Matt Selm, who, if you don't know, is married to our current president, Amanda Selm. And where, pray tell, are you from? Matt?
I currently live in Louisville, Kentucky, but I'm originally from the Cincinnati area. So
wow.
About an hour and a half north.
So how'd you get from point A to point B?
Went to college at Louisville on a scholarship and then ended up going back for grad school and then ended up going back for a job. I pretty much have been there pretty consistently.
Well, I'm hearing went back, and I'm going, sounds like you were yo-yo. You went Cincinnati school, Cincinnati, back down for more school, Cincinnati.
I went home for some stints at a time. I had a big stint home between my undergraduate and grad school and an even larger stint while I was looking for a job.
What is your eye condition and would you want to see if you were able?
I have ROP, which is retinopathy of prematurity. Yeah, I would probably want to see. Actually, when I was in elementary school, I used to read large print textbooks. So I did have some sight one time that's slowly denigrated.
How long have you been involved with ACB?
Since 2014. So about coming up on 7 years now.
Why did you join ACB or Next Gen?
I got involved in KCB, the Kentucky Council of Blind, because we were forming a Next Generation chapter, and that morphed itself into starting ACB Next Generation. That's the short, very brief story.
That is the best abbreviated story I have heard.
Yes.
Are you on any committees or hold an office within Next Gen?
Within Next Gen itself, I'm the first vice president, and I chair the Constitution, Bylaws, and Resolutions Committee, as well as the membership committee. So I wear lots of hats.
What is the best thing about being a Next Gen member?
For me, it's connecting with younger people across the ACB land and seeing the enthusiasm that people have for Next Gen.
Dude, what are your goals within ACB?
I would like to see us really grow as an organization. So I really kind of want to help with that. Personally, for myself, I'm so tied up in what I'm doing right now. I don't know. If you ask me what do you want to do in 5 years, I couldn't tell you.
What are your goals outside of ACB?
Oh, everybody always wants a better job, wants more pay, wants to live in a bigger house. I guess I'm probably no exception to those things. I would like to be in a career rather than in a job, if that makes sense.
That totally does. Oh my gosh, that totally does. Last year's convention's theme was a path to the future. What does that look like to you?
I think within ACB, I think it's kind of forced people to live a life online.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, it's given ACB opportunity to expand its reach into, to connect with people that may not be always have been easily reachable.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just think that's something that we have to, now that we're starting to come along post-pandemic, something that we have to continue to build on is increasing our presence and increasing our reach in those spaces.
What makes you smile?
My wife, she cracks me up, all of her isms, and
that's a good way to be, man.
my kiddos. Yeah, the kiddos, they crack me up too, and
Mm-hmm.
all of their kid stuff, kids
Mm-hmm.
and how they are. I don't know. I get on Facebook every day and read there's a couple groups that are where people describe memes on the internet, and I read those and
yeah.
usually get a good chuckle out of that.
Are you a night owl, a lark, or something in between?
I hate getting up in the morning, so I'm definitely not a lark. I guess I would say that I'm a night owl, but I'm not a 1 or 2 a.m. night owl. I'm usually about midnight or 12:30. I'm done for the day. So,
is there an outfit or piece of clothing that makes you feel fabulous?
no
is
really.
A valid option. It is. Where have you traveled, and or where would you like to travel to?
Ooh, this is a great question. All right, so I've been to the Navajo Reservation.
Mm-hmm.
I went there in high school as a part of an experience sort of trip.
Uh-huh.
And that was really neat. While we were down there, we also went to Albuquerque and went to Nogales, Mexico, and Tucson. So that was neat. I've been to, I guess, the Smoky Mountain National Park area a whole bunch.
Oh,
Amanda's family loves to go there, and it's a tourist trap, but it's fun. I've been to Myrtle Beach, which is also a tourist trap, but also just as fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, went to on our honeymoon, we took a cruise and went to some places in the Caribbean, like Puerto Rico and the Turks and Caicos and the Virgin Islands, and that was fun. So, I like going around and seeing those places. I really am a big history nerd, and I really want to go to Europe.
Yes,
I want to go
where the history comes
really
from.
Want to go to? I know. I really want to go to. I mean, if I have to pick, gun to my head, I really want to go to Normandy, and I really want to go see Auschwitz, which I know is very dark.
It is, yeah. History.
I took a very dark, but I took a class in college on the Holocaust, and I've seen so much. So I think to see places like that, while it's an incredible tragedy, I think it would be just a moving experience. But beyond that, I do want to see, the cities, London, Paris, Florence, Rome, Berlin, St. Petersburg, Moscow.
Tell us about one of your craziest adventures as a blind person.
I'm sure everyone knows Derby is a big thing in Kentucky. The evening before Derby, I went to a friend's house. We consumed some beverages and had a good time with the neighbors and, hung out and everything. And the next morning, I'm going back down to campus. And one of my other friends calls me. And he said, he said, "Hey, where are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm coming back to campus." He said, "All right." He said, "You want to go to the Derby today?" And I said, "Well, no, I hadn't planned on it." He said, "Well, get back here and get dressed. We're going to go to the Derby." I said, "Okay." So I'm still, feeling, fairly decent for the night before. And, so I go over, walk in the house and go over, and he's like, "Oh, Selm, you're here." I said, "Yeah." He said, "All right, here you go." And he hands me a beer. I'm like, "Dude, it's 9:30 in the morning." He's like, "That's right. We're going to Derby." I was like, "Oh my God." And so I get dressed and we go down there. His dad is a Kentucky colonel.
What is a Kentucky colonel?
A Kentucky colonel is basically, it's kind of like something that you have to be nominated for, and the governor basically approves you to be a colonel. So it's kind of like you're like a citizen of distinction. He had seats in the grandstands, which are not cheap. And so we had lunch in the museum. Of course, Churchill Downs is a museum for the Derby, obviously. So we had lunch in the museum.
Yep.
And then we proceeded to walk around all day, consuming beverages of various types and quantities.
In an adult nature.
That's right. And watched the Derby in the grandstands, and did a little bit of betting along the way. Didn't win any money, but we were
having a good time.
A good amount. And then that's right. And then, we actually did have some winnings, and then we tried to get smart and bet an exacta box, and that didn't go well. And exactas where you pick 4 horses, and 3 of them have to come in first, second, and third.
Oh.
And our horses came in first, second, fourth, and fifth. So there went that.
Yeah, there it went.
Yep, there went that. So fast forward, we've had quite a few beverages, and we're leaving. And we are going to walk back to campus, which is only a couple of miles. It's not too far. I was following inside a guide, and we're both pretty inebriated. Well, he's got on these dark sunglasses, and he takes my cane and he starts using it going down the street. And so these people behind us, now keep in mind, we've been walking around the infield all day, and we're both wearing suits, because you couldn't get into the museum unless you were properly dressed. So people were making fun of us, calling us all these names. So we're walking down the street, and these guys are following us, and they're going, "Oh, look at him. He's plastered." And they're talking about my friend, when really I'd probably had more to drink out of the two of us, probably. So they're poking fun at him. And we get up to a corner. Well, for whatever reason, I let go of him, and I kind of walked off the curb out into the street. And my friend was like, "Matt, come on, let's go." And I turned around, walked back up on the corner, and we just kept going down the road. And the guys never said anything else after that. The whole way, like they were poking fun of us. And then this little moment happened, and they were like, it was funny. It was funny.
That is it sounds like mostly harmless fun in a really grand way. Considering that adventure, what do you think your next one might be?
I know this will not involve as much alcohol, but we are going to the family's going to take a trip to Gulf Shores, Alabama area over the summer. And that ought to be fun, hanging on the beach. And
in school, what was your worst subject?
Definitely Spanish, but ironically I took Spanish in college and got all A's.
Do you have any hidden quirky talents?
I have an affinity for 90s hip hop.
Now that's interesting. I would have never guessed that. Do tell.
I can usually lay down some 90s rap pretty well. So,
what book changed your life?
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Beyond that, we were talking about the Holocaust earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot remember the title, but the author Primo Levi.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best accounts of the Holocaust and what life was like. I don't know. I definitely have to say though, the earliest book I remember reading and going, wow, that was deep.
That was yeah. Who would you like to meet in fact, fiction, or fantasy?
I would have to say Theodore Roosevelt.
Ooh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Or no, I would say Theodore Roosevelt.
He's a good choice and an interesting one at that.
Very interesting, especially the times that he lived in. And, again, no person in history is perfect. That does not exist ever. When you consider that, he passed the antitrust legislation and tried to break up huge corporations,
mm-hmm.
just in how much he really was just full of piss and vinegar, and
I love that phrase. Way to keep it alive.
If you haven't seen it yet, you need to go watch The Roosevelts, which is another.
That was a good one.
Documentary. It was fantastic, and Eleanor Roosevelt is just as a fascinating character in her own
firecracker.
Right. Yes.
Oh my goodness. What gives you confidence?
Getting stuff done.
Hey. Getting stuff done is awesome.
If I get something done, I feel like I can do something else.
All right. I am down.
Yeah.
What are your passions other than history?
I'm a decent sports watcher.
Mm-hmm.
Go Cards. And it's baseball season, so hooray.
If there were no barriers, what would you be doing with your life right now?
An attorney.
Dude, that is an unexpected twisted turn. Do tell.
I guess this is partly out of looking at so much history. I've kind of become interested. I guess a somewhat extension of that is the law. And
100%.
How the law works and operates. And I often wonder because when I was 18,
mm-hmm.
We were just going into Iraq and we were already in Afghanistan.
Right.
I wonder if I would have joined the military, that sort of thing.
Sure.
I have a lot of family that was in the military and some that have retired from the military.
What do people not know about you?
I guess when I was in middle school, I entered a short story writing contest.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, did I win first place? I think I won first place one year, making up stories in my head and trying to write them down and piece things together in a narrative and make it relatable. And
sure. I hope you use that skill with your kids.
We tell some creative bedtime stories sometimes. Yeah.
Good. What skill do you wish you had? And what are the barriers to getting it?
Two things. I'm going to give you two things.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish I would have learned to play the guitar.
You still can.
And yes.
Never too late. Don't even. It's never too late. It might be a not right now, but it doesn't mean it can't happen in the future.
Yes. And all right. So that's one. And then two is I wish I was more of a handy person. Like fixing things. Yeah.
Fixing things. Yeah.
And, I can take something apart and like I took a dryer apart and
dude, wasn't that fun?
And, it was interesting, Last year I had a couple things. I had a a toilet that was continuously running.
Ooh,
And it was literally just a valve that needed to be replaced. And I was like, man, if I was more handy, I could have just did that for probably like $10 and saved myself, whatever this guy charged me coming over here, right?
Yeah.
My air conditioner was leaking. And, while that would nowhere near been as easy to fix by far, maybe I could have tried to find a temporary fix, or maybe had some better wherewithal of what they were telling me that they need to do, and not feel like at the end of it, like, oh, I just kind of got railroaded, what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think that kind of stuff, that would be nice.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, let's see. The kids will be in school. Yep. And hopefully we'll be in a different location. Well, that's the idea anyway, that we're trying to work on. Career wise, hopefully I've moved on to bigger and brighter things, or advanced up the ladder in the same manner to other things.
Sure.
Within the ACB world, I hope that my own state affiliate is growing. I hope that Next Gen has exploded.
Sounds messy.
Well, you know what I mean. I hope that efforts that we put forth today will bring lots of fruit for tomorrow.
Dude, what is the strangest question anyone has ever asked?
Now, as blind people, we always get the questions of, hey, did you know that they make Playboy in Braille? Or so I go to a conference in Chicago, and on the way in to my hotel, I took the subway.
All right.
And so on the way back, I was also planning to take the subway, but for whatever reason, I don't know if I was running late, but I was like, man, just want to go home. So I ended up taking a cab, which, forewarning, I'm cheap. So it
miracle upon miracles, was it? That's
right. So I'm taking this cab, and this guy's, we're just talking, and I'm telling him, he's, oh my gosh. All right. So he's, so we're talking about relationships or whatever. And he says, well, I'm sure, you probably went to one of those blind schools. And before I could tell him, well, no, I went to public school. He said, I think it's real nice, how they set you people up there. And I'm like, set us up? What do you mean?
What?
He's like, well, I mean, don't they arrange you people to get married and stuff? And I'm like, no. and I was like, man, this is a new one right now. I've never heard this before.
Wow, that is good.
Yeah,
that is good.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was a nice guy. He really was. But I was like, all right, man, awesome. I don't know. It just amazes me how many people fail to realize that blind people are normal people like everybody else.
How do you stop a compulsive talker?
Listen to what they are saying and interject a viewpoint of my own that may make them pause and listen to what I'm saying.
And you found this to be successful.
And I wait until they take a breath, because everyone has to take a breath sometime.
Is there anyone you just can't feel empathy for?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of feel like if I think about it, I can always come to some level of thought of what someone else is thinking, even though I may not get it. You can always appreciate someone else's position, even though you may vehemently disagree.
How do you like to deliver bad news? In person, by email, or by carrier pigeon?
Can I teleport over?
Sure.
Bad news come back.
Sure. 100%.
Maybe up, Scotty.
What would you like the ACB community to know about you?
I would just say follow me on Twitter and Clubhouse at Matt Selm. And you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Matt Selm.
Sure.
And
all the things.
Yeah, we'll find each other one way or the other.
Sure. So. And create some mostly harmless mischief.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you for listening. This has been an ACB Next Generation Monday Member Spotlight. If you enjoyed these videos, we'd really appreciate it if you could hook the like button and subscribe. If you would like to learn more about ACB Next Generation, we invite you to check us out on several social media platforms as ACB Next Gen. You can also find out more about us on our website at acbnextgeneration.org. We hope you join us next time as we feature one of our other great ACB Next Generation members. On the right-hand side of the screen is a glowing star effect.